Welcome back. This is part 2 of Tomb Raider Anniversary. This is the Underworld mod, and what I've done here is this is part of the TRAE menu hook thing, and you can put different skins on Lara and skip to any level and have any checkpoint and add various things into the levels and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is this room, this weird section here. I've pulled that for some weird reason, I don't know why. This is dub, this is not live. I played this about a week ago nearly. So this room is something that doesn't appear in the original game. I can't remember the exact thing with the original game where you had the big room with the Sphinx in it, you had to get the Anks, and it was about climbing up the sides of the room, and then there was that invisible platform it was jump onto, and it was a bit involved. But this game, this section here feels more like Tomb Raider because you have to do something to get something to happen, and this feels rather like old school Tomb Raider in a way because you've got to do something and it's not altogether obvious. And I always seem to get stuck on this room because you got to stand on these and pull them down, and it's like, okay, that's a bit implausible, but it's not easy because I didn't actually look at a guide when I played this and I managed to work it out. I haven't played this level in at least a year. This whole thing, it feels like a real Tomb Raider game. It's like part of the game that I think is a bit more of what Tomb Raider should be about, rather than just being, drawing the dots up by numbers. It's like feels a bit more like an actual Tomb Raider campaign. It's not so gimmicky as the headshot thing that they put in it, which I never like that because I can never do it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the room here, I'm thinking, what have I got to do? And climbing about, jumping about on these poles, but it's not linear. It's kind of like you've got to do things a certain way or you can't achieve it. So that's what I mean by it feels like an actual Tomb Raider game, even though it's like not core design and it's the more modern era. This thing comes out the wall, of course, and you've got to get that door open to get the Ankh. You need two of them, so there's two separate rooms, and looks like a theme park almost. But you got to climb up on this thing, but they've got to give you something to look at, of course, because it wouldn't be modern or latter day Tomb Raider if it didn't have lots of nice things to look at with fantasy graphics. So we're playing a Doppelganger. This is the evil version of Lara, which appears in that cutscene at Lara's house. I'm looking here thinking, well, okay, what have I got to do next? This is the thing about this whole room is there's a bit where you got to jump from that bit that sticks out onto one of the obelisks, that you could call it, which is like, if normally you think, well, there's got to be just a way to climb onto it, or and it does feel like, this is an actual puzzle to a certain degree because it's not straightforward. Lucky that there's water down there, because if it wasn't, you'd end up being killed trying to get onto these things, and it's like they did put the water in to kind of, I suppose, help you out a little bit. Otherwise, if you did fall off of there and you didn't quite make it, you'd have to completely start again. That's the one you got. I'm sure that's the one that you've got to jump onto. Of course, I had to climb back up again. If it was real, you could say, well, what is this room for? Someone to come along and open this door, but then it's like, it wasn't too difficult. I did actually struggle with this quite a few years ago, but I didn't actually look at a guide, so I was like, because I had played it in quite a long time and I don't remember exactly what you have to do, and again I'm going to get wrong there. I think I'm not going to cheat using the flying cheat. I'm trying to play this as if I'm playing an actual campaign because I'm trying to showcase this mod with the Doppelganger on it. This is the mod that allows you to be, this is Underworld Lara, so you got all the Lara outfits. jumping and grabbing. Quite difficult. I think that if it was real, you wouldn't get more than about a very short way in before you basically just ran out of energy. And this thing would probably snap in half, which would be quite funny. No, getting it completely wrong there. Okay, if there was no water in here, then you would you'd have to keep climbing, either getting injured or climbing. I did cheat there just to get back on there because it was putting myself back on there and I wasn't prepared to keep climbing up again and again. That's the only thing I did. Got to be there because you have to do this thing where one of them you can't get on it. That's it. That was quite nice they put that in because it's like not obvious, so you have to think, well, hang on a minute. It's not just about jumping from one to the other and it's super easy. Actually, that requires you to actually think and go, well, hold on, if I have to jump off of there, that takes a bit of a risk because then you have to keep climbing back up. The penalty is you have to climb back up. So that was quite nice that they did that because it feels like a real Tomb Raider game rather than this by numbers thing that they keep doing. That I'm looking at there. There's that secret. Piece of toast or the Pop-Tart or something. So I'm just looking at this because when I'm playing this, I'm actually trying to figure out what I've got to do. The thing where the poles, I'm trying to think, can I get onto that corner thing there and go across, or will I just fall off, or do I go from the other side? I'm thinking, actually, no, you've got to go from this side because that's where the other. It won't be so easy to go over there and jump onto that. You've got to go this way to get onto that corner one. There we are. I didn't think she could make that. I know you got to do these fast. She gets that rather than that's a smaller ledge thing she's got to hold on to. It's quite convenient that she gets steered just that so she goes laterally sideways. I was wondering if I have to go up one or not. It's kind of rewarding in a way once you get the there's one that's very difficult to get at and then you've got to go across the room to get to this one. That was quite well done. And he does that, of course, and magically opens that door. And it shows you the lever, so it's giving you a bit of help there, because otherwise you'd be going, oh, hang on a minute, why isn't the door opening? So what I really hated about this game was, when I first ever played it, the full game, you needed to be able to master that headshot, and I couldn't do it. So that's why I always hated this game, because I just thought, well, that's a gimmick, why did they put that in? That's really... like, it's something that dates the game a little bit, because in the original Tomb Raider, you had to just be pixel perfect on the jumps and getting those right, but then it was... they didn't do things like this latter day thing where they put these things in it that makes it kind of groovy to the kids who didn't grow up with it. It's a thing they put in to attract people. So you come here, of course, pull this lever, which is magically connected to this thing here. And it magically does this. What if it was cloudy? It would be quite difficult to. You do all that and then it comes down and it goes back up and all these things back down to the bottom. Fantasy graphics, of course. I didn't make it easy to get down. You could either jump down to the water, then you have to climb back up again. But I'm going to cheat using the flying thing. I think this stone walkway is very implausible, but it just snap off halfway. Seriously. Of course, it closes behind you. A bit of tension there. Oh, we're going to get out. Next thing turns up. Great. Nothing else in it but that. There's no pickups. Nothing. No little reward other than the thing you've got to get, which is just that. God, what would you do if the door didn't open? You'd be stuck in there. Yay. Okay. Thank you, Doppy. And nothing else in here. It's like a very nondescript room. I think there'd be more in here. Or something that she'd read on the wall and it'd be a part of the story. No? Oh, there's that thing there, of course, did I? I went back to get that. I was thinking, how do I get that? I was looking at this going, well, you can't, it's not going to be, you can't get on the poles. And where I was before, you couldn't get up to that because you won't jump onto that ledge. Now, I remember there was something about the top part being climbable. So it must be this way because it wasn't the other. Very convenient, there's a ladder there. You wouldn't be able to get on it otherwise, would you? It's something to do with this. And I was thinking, was it this top part? No, it's lower down. The top of this door, I think, is the... A bit cheeky that they thought, that was just part of the decoration. No, you can actually climb onto that. I remember this from when I last played it from way back. There's something to do with the door. I had to look at that way back and go, how did you get this thing? Oh, it's this, okay. Okay, convenient there's water there, you'd have to climb down manually, otherwise you'd be injured. How does the water get in there then? Is there like a magic water? Very convenient. And we have to go back to the main room and then there's the other room on the other side, which means you've got to climb up to there. I was wondering if there was any of these... Why is this one easy to kill but the one in that level isn't? Well, you've got two of them. Where Pierre gets killed by them. There it is. Get her. Nice ladder there, because if I didn't put it in, you'd better get it, would you? You could have just gone up the stairs. But then they can't get straight in anyway, because they do that thing with the levers, and the thing that goes up down, which stops you from going straight into the doors. Oh, she couldn't get onto that. What is that, about 10 foot? Not even that? There's no chimney jumping this, that was Underworld. But, I wonder how you get in here, and I'm getting it wrong. You have to go here, this is it. Jump. Grab. One of them. This is the bit I have trouble with getting onto here because where she jumps backwards from these pillars, she doesn't always get this ledge on the side. So I always had trouble getting onto that because she always falls off of it. Which means it's a bloody annoyance getting in here because if you're not using the cheat, you have to climb back up again if you fall off. It's very convenient that these are climbable because you never get in. Think, oh, how would I get in there then? Great. I still think this room's way smaller. It should have been twice the size. It feels like, how did they get that Sphinx in there? It feels like it's shorter. The original Sphinx was longer. This is actually shorter. This is the bit I can't get onto for some reason. It's right there. I mean, that should be doable, unless I should be higher up, I don't know. No, she doesn't get it. I can't get her to go onto that, and it takes my health off me, which is funny. I'll just cheat and go up there. I can't bother fanny about with that. Thank goodness for the fly cheat there. Very conveniently placed poles there that haven't degraded in 4,000 years. Take the weight of a fully grown doppelganger. Great. Another, and it's the opposite. So the room is the. I think it's the other way round. I think it's the same difference, but it's the other way round. Anyway, pull this lever. This is weird. How would this? What is the point of this lever? I mean, you have to get in this way anyway. How would you have got in there otherwise if those pillars didn't have cracks in them? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. Right, Doppy, let's do this. Okay, is there any of those? Yes, there's this business going on. Is there any of them things that bang together? Yeah, of course there is. It's just padding there to make sure, make it a bit more difficult. Is there another one? Yes, it's this massive one that looks really bad, but they very generously timed it. That's very they generously timed that one. It's like it's just. In fact, I tell you what, I won't crush you to pieces. It's like, yeah, and there's this very convenient thing in the middle. If it went bang bang, in fact, you never get across, would you? Thank you, Doppy.